What's up everyone? Silver Dragons here, and this is my first time ever trying to melt and pour copper. So let's do it! Thank you so much for watching this video. I do sincerely appreciate it. This is my first time trying to melt and pour copper. So we're up to 2,200 degrees now. I just ended my silver pour party. It was pour party number 8. And we were going to try and pour the copper at the end of the pour party, but unfortunately it was just taking way too long to melt. So I've never melted down copper before, but let me show you what it looks like and we'll see if it's actually made any progress on melting down. So here we go. Okay, starting to get there. So it actually is melting down, which is a really good sign because it was at that temperature for a while and not melting, which was strange to me, but it looks like it is melting down now. So I'm gonna give it about 5 more minutes to get fully melted down, and then we'll try my first ever copper pour. All right, so here we are at my pouring station now. This is kind of a crazy setup that I got going on here. I've got some wires and stuff in the background. That's my cable for my webcam that I use during my pour party. And then I've got the cable for my other furnace back there. I got all my 3 of my furnaces up here on the table, but this is what I'm gonna pour for my first ever copper pour. It's just a regular little 2 or 3 ounce piece. It's a bar, but I've never poured this mold before. And the reason I'm gonna pour this one first is because my first ever silver pour was pretty much in the exact same mold. So first silver, first copper. And I've never done it before, so let's try it out and see how it goes. First, I gotta heat this bad boy up. I'm gonna put that about right there. So we got a little bit of flame going in there. All right, here we go. First ever copper pour. Wow, look at that. That's so hot. See if we can get some ripples on that bad boy. All right. There it is. It's probably like a little 2 ounce piece. Look at it just glow. That's crazy. So much different than silver. Whoop. All right, let's see if I can do one more. I don't know how long this is going to stay hot for. Let's see if we can do another one. All right. There we go. Wow, look at it. It looks so crazy. And this is already starting to cool down. So we'll probably just get the 2 pours. But you gotta start somewhere, right? So look at that. That's crazy cool looking. It's so much different than silver, so much different. So we got my first 2 copper pieces here. Let me go ahead and get these quenched and then we'll take a look at them. Here's the first one. We did get a little bit of ripples on it. It's just hard to focus on and see because it's so dark. Like, look how black that is. But you can definitely tell it's copper under there for sure. So I'm gonna have to get this cleaned up. Now the other one that I poured second didn't really have any ripples at all. In fact, there's this little bump right there, which I'll probably have to sand off to make this a nice bar. But the next step is to get these all cleaned up so they look like shiny copper, not just totally black pieces. So the way to do that is to tumble them overnight. So let me take you over to my tumbler and I'll show you the recipe I'm gonna use. Okay, so here I am over at my tumbling station. Now I actually have 4 tumblers. I'm gonna use this one here. I'm probably gonna keep this one for copper, just exclusively do copper on this tumbler. But anyway, I got my 2 pieces, so we're gonna toss them in. Now in here is stainless steel shot. Okay, so we got a bunch of stainless steel shot in there. That's the first part of the recipe. The second thing we need to put in is vinegar. So we got some all-natural distilled white vinegar. That looks fine, so we'll pour some of that in there. All right, I don't know exactly how much to use, so we'll just do a pretty good amount. Make sure we get everything covered. There we go, so we got everything covered in vinegar. Now I do need to put some salt in, so we're gonna go Morton's iodinized sea salt. Okay, so let's try that out. So salt and vinegar is supposed to, get some of this poured out. Come on, baby, there we go. Salt and vinegar is supposed to clean the copper really well. So Now what I'm gonna do is close this up, and we will let this tumble. Probably just gonna leave it overnight, and then I'll come back in the morning and check it out and see what they look like. But I'm hoping they should be super bright and shiny copper when we're all done. So let that tumble away, and we'll come back when it's done. All right, so I let these go all night. They've had plenty of time to tumble, so hopefully they end up looking pretty sweet. I can totally smell the vinegar. So it smells like, I don't know, salt and vinegar chips. Let's see if we can get this open here. There we go. And see if they came out nice and shiny. Oh yeah, much better. Look at that. That's absolutely gorgeous. What a change. I mean, they were super dark black, and now they're super shiny. So cool. We have 2 successful copper bars that we made. I'm gonna have to get these stamped up. So let me show you how I do the stamping, and then we will be done with our first 2 ever copper bars. This one, I just ever so slightly sanded down that corner there with my Dremel, so it's a little smoother. There was a little spot there that I wasn't super happy about. So anyway, here's what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my dragon stamp, and we're gonna go ahead and stamp it right on the top of this bar here. So this will be my first ever attempt, I suppose you could say, at stamping copper. I think it's gonna go pretty well because I've stamped a bunch of silver before. So let's get this positioned where I want it. All right, let's see how this sets. So I hit it pretty hard, and there we go. Got my dragon on there. Awesome. Yeah, it definitely feels a little bit harder than silver, so you really gotta stamp it pretty hard. But that looks pretty sweet, so we got one of them stamped. Let me do the other one here real quick. This one has cooler ripples. This was the first one I poured, so let me put this one in the middle of the ripples here. And we'll get a good stamp on this one. See how that one turned out. Not bad. The wings came out really nice. Doesn't really have the tail on there. So whenever you have a stamp that's not totally complete, you can fix it. All you do is you put your stamp back on there. Got to get lined up so it's sitting in the same spot, and then just finish out the part you missed. See if we got the tail on there now. Yep, there we go. Dragon with the dragon tail. Nice. All right, so I got my 2 pieces of copper stamped up. All right, so here are the 2 finished bars. It's amazing that I started with just copper wire like this, melted it down, and we ended up with really cool and awesome copper bars. Now, just for fun, let's go ahead and weigh these. So I got my scale out here, and we're gonna weigh these in regular ounces, just OZ, that's what I have it set to now, because copper is not a precious metal. So we're gonna weigh it in regular ounces or avoirdupois ounces. If you're not sure about the difference between regular ounces and troy ounces, I will put a card up in the corner to a video I have explaining the difference, as well as a link in the description down below. But either way, let's get these weighed just for fun and see how much they do weigh in copper. So here's the first one here with the ripples, 2.4 ounces. So that's very cool. And here's the second one that I poured, 1.9 ounces. Very cool. Now, I'm just weighing them for fun. I'm not actually going to stamp the weight on these. Like I said, these are just copper, and they really don't cost that much. So I'm going to leave the back totally flat like this. All it's going to have on there is my dragon stamp. So at the end of the day, it is a really cool and fun piece of art. And I could pour other shapes, not just bars, but I figured, you know what, why not start out with some bars? So anyway, what an amazing transformation from wire to bar. And the things that I learned from pouring these 2 pieces of copper were, number one, you got to get the copper super hot. And number two, it takes longer to melt down than the silver. So once it gets up to that temperature, you still gotta wait an even longer amount of time. And it might be a little bit just because I'm using a different furnace. I'm used to using my other types of furnaces for melting silver. And so maybe this one's just a little bit, maybe it takes longer. I don't know. I've got no idea. But either way, that was my experience. And the other thing I learned was, I guess the third thing is that these, when you pour them, the pouring is much slower. It doesn't flow as smoothly as the silver. Maybe if I got it actually hotter, it would flow a little bit better. But I was only able to pour 2 bars before it got too cold to pour any more. And usually when I'm pouring silver, I can pour at least like 4 or 5 bars. So very interesting. It pours slower. It's a little bit different, but all around it's a similar experience to pouring silver. I did have fun making these pieces. I hope you had a lot of fun watching the video. In case anyone was wondering, these pieces are actually not for sale. I don't know what I'm going to do with them. Maybe I'll probably keep one of them and give the other one away. I am coming up on 10,000 subscribers, so once I hit the big 10K subs, I'll probably give one of these away. I will be pouring some more stuff in the future, so stay tuned for that. But anyway, I just want to say a massive thank you so much for watching the video, and I'll see you all in the next one. Silver Dragons out.